I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Yes, it sure is.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. In New
hmm
York.
I am for several many more hours, and then I'm returning to Los Angeles.
You saw a show last night?
I did see a show last night that I was very excited to see and support. It's a one-person show that played at the Skirball, which is a performing arts center with NYU. It's right next to there. I'd never been there before. It's called Jack Ferver My Town, and it's based on elements of their own life from their childhood in Wisconsin or rural Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin Death Trip is also a touching point that influenced this piece, based on their current uh, living situation in upstate New York. It's weaving together past and present, and it's just them on stage for 65 minutes. It felt like a piece written by Genet or even Beckett that was then interpreted by somebody like a David Lynch. Like, it's very surreal, it's eerie, but also quite funny. I think, I mean, you're familiar with Jack Ferver's work with Strangers with Candy. They're a very funny person.
Yeah.
Uh, so there's some camp elements to it. Yeah, and I was sitting amongst a bunch of people, a pretty good mix of people, but there were a lot of students there, of course, because it's NYU, and it was interesting listening to them ponder what it was about afterwards. Beforehand, there were some complaints about Thornton Wilder's Our Town and what a stuffy thing they thought that was, but my town is kind of anything but that.
What was the staging like?
Just Jack Ferver on stage, moving, kind of utilizing the entire space, wearing shoes that created sounds that were part of the performance, part of the soundscape.
Well, unfortunately, tonight's the last show, right?
I think it was just the 21st and 22nd of November.
Oh, so by the time this comes out, people wouldn't have a chance to go see it.
That's correct. But it was a packed house.
Well, that's good.
Mhm.
Okay, I saw a headline that says Kevin Spacey reveals he is now homeless and is singing at a nightclub in Cyprus for money.
I saw that he said he was homeless living in Airbnbs, but Cyprus is news to me.
Yeah, it says Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey revealed that he now has no home after costly legal fees, and he is living out of Airbnbs and hotel rooms. He is performing at a nightclub in Cyprus for money, as following his legal battles, his net worth shrunk to negative $2 million. I mean, I guess homeless if he's saying he doesn't have like a permanent residence, but if he can afford Airbnbs and hotels, I guess he's not
Well,
completely destitute, but
Airbnbs aren't necessarily cheap.
well, only because reading the comments, it's like living in a hotel is not homeless. Like, well, okay, well, I mean, he also doesn't have a permanent address, so. But either way, I mean, it's sad to see someone, ruin their careers over inappropriate behavior. Like choices.
Yeah, well, also how he handled the accusations were, a bit unseemly. I'm surprised that he hasn't made a greater bid at a European leg of his career.
Well, a lot of people have come out saying he was very difficult to work with, in addition to his inappropriate conduct. So sounds like he's just not a good person in general.
Yeah, but this experience maybe changed his attitude about some things. Again, I feel like somebody could, remember all the blacklisted actors during the McCarthy era? They would all go to Europe and find notable European auteurs to work with. It feels,
Yeah,
I don't,
but back then you could go overseas and be in a different world. Nowadays, we're all connected. I don't know if people are I mean, Kevin Spacey's reputation's still pretty tarnished, and he's not young enough to sort of live, let time pass to get a second win. So I don't know.
I don't either, but it is kind of a bummer. But again, there are consequences to actions.
Yes, there are. I read that the Pope revealed his four favorite movies, and I only recognized one. Well, oh no. Okay. When I first read it, I didn't recognize them, but the four are Ordinary People, which we
Mhm.
have a podcast episode for, The Sound of Music, which I'm I've seen stage productions of The Sound of Music. I don't know that I've seen the movie.
Really? I enjoyed the movie.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Hmm.
Is that the Christmas movie?
Yeah, the Frank Capra, Jimmy Stewart film,
And number four is Life is Beautiful.
the Roberto Benigni.
Is that also set in Rome?
That is set in a concentration camp.
Oh, my apologies. Well, I know Ordinary People is like, aren't they near the Vatican?
Ordinary Peoples with Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore.
Isn't that where their kid dies and doesn't he travel to Rome or is that Venice? He's in Venice. That's
You're
right.
mixing that up with Don't Look Now.
I don't know. Whatever. Those were the Pope's four favorite movies.
Uh, I would have been an eyebrow raised if the Pope loved Don't Look Now.
Moving on to films released we didn't cover. Rental Family.
Yes, I saw this out of AFI. We just couldn't fit a press screening in. It's directed by Hikari, who is best known for the series Beef and some episodes of Tokyo Vice. I've still never seen Beef, which I need to remedy that. But her new film stars Brendan Fraser, post-Oscar role. He's a struggling actor, American, working in Tokyo, and he ends up falling into a very strange kind of occupation where you can act out being part of somebody's family or other kind of given role as like a rental family. So people that have a need say, I have to convince my parents that I'm getting married, so you're going to stand in as the husband, etc. And then, of course, he ends up in, some gray area situations where this woman, to get her daughter into a good school, insists that he pose as the biological father of this kid, but he has to fool the kid as well. So of
Oh.
course, you know how that kind of plays out. As I said, it's quite sentimental. I think it's well done, in moving, but not exactly my cup of tea, but you might enjoy it.
And Sisu 2 Road to Revenge.
We have a written review of Sisu from 2022 on our site.
Oh, okay.
But Jalmari Helander, who is Finnish, that film was kind of a breakout hit, and I do remember some stellar fight sequences in it. But he has a big budget sequel out, and his lead is joined by Stephen Lang. I know you. I'm pretty sure you saw a trailer for this. I'm kind of sad we did miss this because the first one's entertaining enough, and I'm curious to see where they went with it.
Hmm. Projects of Interest. An Arkasha Stevenson project.
Yeah, Arkasha Stevenson directed The First Omen.
Oh, which I liked, I recall.
Yes, quite impressed by that. She's joined by A24 on a new project. I think it's untitled still, but Emma Corrin, Hunter Schafer, and Sophie Wilde are attached. So that's quite the interesting young cast.
This past week on Patreon, we reviewed the film Seconds by Frankenheimer.
John Frankenheimer.
Yeah, which I thought was quite good.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there is an entry in the obituary section. The Kessler twins died. I was not familiar with who they are. Alice and Ellen Kessler. They were 89 years old. They were a German sister act who were popular in like the 50s and 60s. But I found this interesting because they decided to end their own lives on the same day together in Germany with the use of medical aid. And then I was reading that in Germany in 2019, basically assisted suicide became an option. And of course, it's very strictly regulated, but
Hmm.
they made that decision. So good for them. I'm glad they got to go out on their own terms.
I agree. I wish we all had that.
The secret film this week was your choice, and you chose the 1999 black comedy Cookie's Fortune, directed by Robert Altman.
Mhm.
What is this film about? Conflict arises in the small town of Holly Springs when an old woman's death causes a variety of reactions among family and friends. Why did you choose this movie?
Because it's a favorite Altman of mine, and I haven't seen it in 20 plus years, and I was hoping that you would also like it.
I think I equal parts loved it and hated it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What did I love? I think we'll get to all of it, but the main character I would say is Charles S. Dutton,
Yes.
and he has a very close friend, the town sheriff, Lester, played by.
Ned Beatty.
I thought their relationship was very heartwarming.
Hmm.
Like Lester's a real one.
Hmm.
Of course, I love Glenn Close, Julianne Moore, Courtney B. Vance is really good in it.
Yes.
There's also an actor playing, she's a singer in like a juke joint type place
Hmm.
who I really like, Niecy Nash.
Niecy Nash,
Really
yeah.
like. It's funny, but I hated Liv Tyler's character.
I agree. It's not a perfect film. And
I hated that heifer. And we're going to get to all of it, so don't worry. But she's in a little dalliance with like another town law enforcement agent played by Chris O'Donnell. I think you could have thrown those characters away completely.
I agree, although the O'Donnell character does get some lines that are kind of funny because he's playing an idiot.
Sure. And I think the ending is atrocious. It just feels like they didn't know when to stop, such that I don't love what happens in the end. I think it feels drawn out, but yeah, it was a weird experience because I did enjoy the movie. And
Mhm.
Glenn Close is so good at being awful.
Glenn Close, but this is a favorite Julianne Moore performance of mine too.
Yeah, she's really good playing. She's also playing kind of I wouldn't say she's a dummy, but she seems like she's been like lobotomized or something.
She seems like a vulnerable adult in some ways.
Well, yeah, like she's kind of dead in the head, but then she's also, reciting lines from Salome. Like, I mean, she's not a simpleton, but it seems, once we learn kind of the full story, she's clearly greatly affected. But yeah,
Yeah.
Julianne Moore is so good. Glenn Close is spectacular,
And then you have Patricia Neal as Cookie.
who I thought was really cute. They make her look so dusty, but
They
she
do.
was really cute.
Do you
Uh,
remember her? We have a review for The Fountainhead.
oh, she's the rich man's daughter?
Yeah. Well, she's the
Oh,
female lead in The Fountainhead. Is her father rich? Yeah. Hmm.
right. Isn't he the one who owns the newspaper? And
That's right. Yes, that she has the dalliance with.
I have so many notes, but I feel like we have to tell this like the story. So, and there are spoilers, although you you let's just get to it.
Okay.
So we're in this fictitious town called Holly Springs in Mississippi, and Cookie's fortune would lead you to think who's Cookie? Well, Cookie is this elderly woman who's like a beloved member of the community. She's a widow. Her husband Buck died some years ago, and she loved him very much and misses him very much. But thankfully, she has a very nice friendship with a man named Willis, who's like the local handyman and fisherman, and he's played by Charles S. Dutton. So they're very close. It seems like he kind of grew up with these people, Cookie and her husband Buck.
And he lives on the property.
Yeah, he lives like in the house out back. But it's very clear early on that Cookie feels lonely. She cares for Willis, but she's isolated and depressed, like the way she talks about her husband. So one night, Cookie kills herself. She shoots herself in the head in her bed with the idea that she can finally go be with Buck. So it's a touching sentiment, but obviously a very upsetting thing that she does.
Oh,
Okay, but here's where Glenn Close comes in. Glenn Close is Camille. Camille is the niece of Cookie, and Camille is this controlling, neurotic, like she fa-
religious.
she she fancies herself as like a director, actress.
Yes.
She's actually directing the local production of Salome, which stars her sister,
Yes.
Cora, played by Julianne Moore. And as we already mentioned, Cora's kind of like a nitwit, but she's really sweet. And Camille bullies Cora.
Yes.
So Glenn Close's character is very controlling of her sister, Julianne Moore. Okay, so it's Easter time. Cookie has already committed suicide. And we had heard the other thing to note, because I had read the premise, so I knew Cookie's out of here. But it takes like 35 minutes to get to Cookie performing the act,
Hmm.
which I kind of liked because we get to know Cookie in real time, not flashbacks. And we also get to see how people feel about Cookie, which is favorable. But in that first 35 minutes, we hear Cookie's phone ringing all the time, and she never picks it up. And we find out that's Camille, Glenn Close, calling her. And it's Easter Sunday, and Camille needs like some sort of like fruit platter for her,
Fruit bowl.
a fruit bowl. So Camille shows up to Cookie's house unannounced, barges in, like, girl, where are you? I've been calling you. I need this fruit bowl. And then searches around the house and discovers her aunt dead in the bed. And Camille's overly dramatic ass immediately thinks, well, suicide is like shameful. Only people who are mentally ill do that. Like, we can't disgrace our family. So Camille decides to try to like make the scene look like a burglary gone wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I was screaming because you know I'm a Dateline expert, and I thought this would make the perfect like comedic episode of Dateline because it makes no sense that Camille thought that this was gonna not be suspicious.
Hmm.
But Camille makes a very snap decision to make it look like it was. Camille goes as far as to eat the suicide note,
Yes.
takes the gun, tries to wipe things down, steals a bunch of stuff, breaks a bunch of stuff, and then has her dim-witted sister call 911. Cora starts reciting some lines to the operator portrayed by Niecy Nash. The police come and they're like, kind of like, okay, this seems weird. But of course, the only suspect is Willis. He's the only person who's there. But the community, which I kind of loved, this fictitious town in Mississippi where like everyone seems to respect everyone.
Hmm.
But they're like, this is just basic police work. Like Willis, Charles S. Dutton's character, we have to bring you in and question you. But thankfully, the sheriff is like his best friend, Lester. And I just love that at every moment, Lester was writing for his friend. Like, he didn't do this shit. I know he didn't do it. And his answer for everything as to how do you know? He's like, we go fishing together. I know
Mhm.
this man.
I've been fishing with him.
Yeah, I've been fishing with him. I know he didn't do it. Even at one point, they're asking about Willis's blood type. And Lester's like, I know his blood type is not AB negative. How you know? We go fishing together.
Yeah.
But it it it's not as dramatic or chaotic as you would think. In fact, Willis in sitting in jail while the alleged crime is being investigated is actually really chill. Like
Yeah.
he's in his jail cell playing Scrabble. Lester's wife makes him like a candlelight dinner. So he's luxuriating in jail. But here's where Emma's raggedy ass comes in. Emma is portrayed by Liv Tyler, and she's supposed to be Julianne Moore's daughter. And she's like this. How would you describe Emma?
She she's kind of like a manic fairy pixie dream girl. Like she seems fantastical and
I don't know, Liv Tyler. Does she have a Southern accent?
no.
Oh, I hated her Southern accent. I hated everything about her.
Well, she's so whispery and breathy.
And drinks and drives. It's
Yes.
like a
Well,
joke. It's not even a joke. It's just like, yep, she always has her brown liquor with her driving around.
purportedly, she has this sleazy criminal past. And another running gag is she keeps getting parking tickets everywhere she goes.
Well, I feel like that's the bulk of her criminal past is that
Yeah.
she had $234 worth of parking tickets, the most ever in that town. And then she says, and some other little things. But when you meet Emma, it's suspicious because it's like she's in and out of town. She's not close to her mother. She's also very suspicious of like, there's no way Willis, because Emma, Liv Tyler, is very close to Willis, Charles S. Dutton's character. Like she grew up with him. So she's like, I know for a fact he didn't kill my grandma. Also, my mom and aunt are acting really weird. And then the thing that sent me is Camille and Cora are tampering with a crime scene.
Oh, yeah.
That home is a crime scene. There's yellow tape everywhere, and those two just move on in because they assume,
They're gonna get the house.
yeah, like we're gonna inherit all this, so it's ours. So they start cleaning up the house. They actually take the bloody linens and like try to dispose of them. So all of that is crazy.
Yes.
But this is where Courtney B. Vance comes in because he's an outside investigator, like maybe he's from the big city.
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't know what y'all doing around here, but I'm gonna conduct my own investigation. And very quickly, there's like a 10, 15-minute sort of sequence where Courtney B. Vance is going around trying to figure out what Charles S. Dutton was doing on that day. And it's pretty clear that this man is telling the truth that, but he has to do his due diligence. And I think Courtney B. Vance is really good in this role.
Yes.
I think my favorite moment of his is when he's at the juke joint interrogating the owner and the singer, like the lounge singer. And then you have Niecy Nash there assisting him.
And she has a crush on
And
him.
she has the hots for him. And then who's the I can't say it, but the other law enforcement person looked like someone a film critic. Do you know who I'm talking
I
about?
know who you're talking about. The actor is Matt Malloy.
Yeah, he's also there, and he's less interested in like
Well, he's forensics, right?
right. So he's not like he doesn't care anything about Charles S. Dutton being a good man. He's like the evidence will speak for itself. And then Courtney B. Vance is more like we can solve this if we just like get to doing some good police work. And then Lester's in the background like my friend didn't kill anyone. So it's all of that is calamitous. But ultimately we find out, and it's kind of like they make a lucky break because the group of investigators, like the sheriff, Chris O'Donnell, Courtney B. Vance, everything sort of culminates in the production of Salome. And they go to question Glenn Close, Camille, and they see that she has some evidence in her purse.
Well, her blood type also.
Oh, I'm sorry. The smoking gun is that literally on, like at the crime scene. And do they have the gun? I forgot.
Yeah, they have the gun. Remember,
Oh,
because she threw it in the backyard, and then
that's
there's
right. By the Easter eggs.
and then when she discovered that they were going to check for footprints, she burst out there like a panicked
Mhm.
bird. Oh, I like that scene because
That is a good scene.
and
But
they find that suspicious.
But on the gun, there's AB negative blood type, which we're told is very rare. So we need to figure out who in this community has AB negative blood type. And of course, it's Glenn Close. So they arrest her and release Charles S. Dutton. But she confesses, like, listen, my aunt killed herself. And I thought that would bring shame to our family, so I tried to cover it up. Why would you do that? Well, because I'm a prideful woman and I'm also an actress. And, my heart's with the theater. So my immediate thought was to try to stage a scene. So I
Mhm.
thought, okay, fair enough. But then the thing that really screws her up is Julianne Moore has basically been told to stick to the story that she was murdered. And I think Julianne Moore's a little bitter towards her sister, maybe.
Mhm.
So when she gets brought into the police station, because Julianne Moore's been, ever since Glenn Close got arrested, Julianne Moore's been, which has only been like a night, she's been ignoring her calls.
But
So
she's locked out of the house.
yeah. So she's mad and ignoring her calls and then has to come to the police station. And the investigators are like, okay, so can you corroborate the story that your aunt killed herself and you found her like that and tried to make it look like a murder? And Julianne Moore says, no, she was murdered. I thought this was so flimsy because next thing we see, Glenn Close gets convicted of murder. So we see her in prison. Okay, that's the end of the movie, except there's another gag, which is at the reading of the will, because we had been told earlier in a scene between Charles S. Dutton and Liv Tyler, because she's spending a lot of time with him in jail, like keeping her friend company. And please don't let me forget, but we need to talk about their relationship because I found it very inappropriate. Like it was very uncomfortable to be, but he reveals to her that his grandfather was white.
Yes.
So that's in the back of our heads. And then at the reading of the will, where of course Glenn Close thinks she's getting everything because the lawyer starts reading it and he's like, okay, I, Cookie Monster, whatever her name is, I leave my entire estate to my closest or to the closest relative. And Glenn Close pops up like, I knew it. And the lawyer goes, hold on, the closest relative of Buck, the dead husband. So they're like, well, who the hell is that? It's Charles S. Dutton. So they're related, like Buck, and because him and the white grandfather, they were related.
Uh,
So technically, Charles S. Dutton is Buck's like nephew. So he inherits everything. So that's a gag. And then another HIPAA violation. We're at the jail, and Niecy Nash gets a fax, and it's Glenn Close's medical records. And this lady starts reading her medical records out loud. She might as well have had a bullhorn and got on
yep.
the PA and basically talking about, well, Glenn Close is a hemophiliac. And when she had a baby, she damn near bled to death, but her sister Julianne Moore had to give her a blood transfusion. And everyone's like, what? Liv Tyler's like, my aunt doesn't have a kid. And they're like, well, according to her medical records, she had a baby. Well, I don't know anything about this baby. Well, I don't know. The baby was born on April 1st, 1979. Liv Tyler's like, that's my birthday. So we find out that Glenn Close is Liv's mom, not Julianne Moore. How did that happen? Glenn Close had an affair with Julianne Moore's man. Do you know how crazy that is? So my sister had an affair with my man, got pregnant. Then to protect the situation, I decide to just pretend that it's my baby. But that's after I gave my whole ass sister a blood transfusion.
Right.
And then for all these years, this bitch has bullied me and controlled me. I think I feel like that could have been its own movie. But the way it is here, especially the ending, oh my God, my head was spinning. Like, wait, Okay, Charles S. Dutton is related to Buck. Oh, wait. And then Camille is Liv's mom. And like it was too much that I don't think was well presented.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, it's busy. It's very busy.
When did you first see this movie?
In 1999, I think it was one of five films Julianne Moore had come out that year, including A Map of the World with Sigourney Weaver.
So you saw this in the theater?
No, I rented it with my parents, and I owned it on VHS as well. I think the rights holder maybe is difficult. I swear this was streaming on Amazon at some point in the past year because that's why I was like, oh, I can. I finally saw it available somewhere, and then right when we were about to watch this, I, I had to really dig to find a streaming copy of it, and it's out of print on home entertainment on DVD. But I had very fond memories, and for a short while, I remember my dad imitating how Charles S. Dutton says cookies, cookie, cookie, cookie.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Empire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have a lot of notes. Let me get through them quickly. The very first scene, the first person we meet is, I mean, one of the first people is Niecy Nash,
Mhm.
but it's from a distance. So I was like, oh my God, because I didn't look at the cast list. Like, oh my God, is that Niecy Nash?
Before Reno 911.
But she still is giving Reno 911. She's
Yes.
funny. And then I haven't thought of Lyle Lovett in forever. And he's in this movie with nothing to do except, I guess, be jealous that he can't have Emma.
His name is Manny Hood. Yeah, apparently he's employing her and he's kind of a creep, which is funny because Altman liked Lovett, and I think he provided the score for the movie Robert Altman did right after this, which has the same screenwriter and rap called Dr. T and the Women. But yeah, he has nothing to do.
Is that a good movie?
I recently rewatched that earlier this year, and I found it better than I remembered. Flawed maybe in similar ways that you could say about Cookie's Fortune, but I like it.
So before Cookie takes her life, there's a scene of her in the kitchen, and Willie just comes and Willis just comes and goes. And so he's talking to Cookie, and she's kind of rambling on, and Willis sort of thinks like, oh, maybe she's like going senile because she's not really making sense. I kind of interpreted it as she's made the decision that she's going to end her life. So she's just because she was rambling on about Buck and saying like his watches are under the bed, and I think she was trying to prime Willis, like, when I'm gone, you know what to do.
Mhm.
But it's during this moment that we first hear mention of Willis. Wait, is his name Willis or Willie?
Willis.
Oh, okay. I got nervous because I wrote down both. It's during this scene that Willis starts talking about he's going to make catfish enchiladas for Easter. And
Yeah.
I like catfish. You made me some catfish nuggets not too long ago.
Hmm.
I just can't imagine catfish enchiladas.
I'm sure. I'm sure you could make those and they'd be tasty.
I don't
I,
know.
he had just bought the fish when he came upon the murder scene, the suicide scene, and Ned Beatty's like, "Does somebody smell fish?" And
Oh,
then
go
there's
ahead.
buzzing around.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because how many times does Willis tell Emma, you smell like fish? And I just thought that was so weird. Like,
Because of where she works for Lyle. Oh, but what really sent me is there's a sex scene with Chris O'Donnell and Liv Tyler in the jailhouse. And right afterwards, Liv Tyler returns to the cell where Willis is being held, and he tells her he smells. What does he say? She smells like not so much the fish anymore, but
like your mom's sweet like crab salad or something, something
yeah.
like that. Okay, since we're on that track, I was very uncomfortable with Willis and Emma.
Hmm.
Like they, I don't know. I don't know how people do in the South. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but it felt a little like incestuous to me.
Yeah.
I
It
just felt uncomfortable.
strange. It felt strange, but also inauthentic.
Well, that part, maybe that's what's like hard to compute is that it feels inauthentic. They have sex. Chris O'Donnell and Liv Tyler have sex more than once in the jail.
Yes.
And one time it's at night because Liv Tyler is not leaving Charles S. Dutton's sight. So she's just always at the jail, but she'll sneak away and have sex with Chris O'Donnell. And so one night they do it, and Willis knows that she's left to go do that in the other room. And we see him in bed kind of smiling. And I thought this man probably fully masturbated when
Uh,
the camera turned. I didn't like that. It doesn't read like, oh, that's my like Uncle Willis and he's always looking out for me. He was that the way those two characters were written and their interaction, I just really didn't like.
yeah, I concur.
So,
And Chris O'Donnell again, he's kind of funny. He's got two pretty funny lines about the blood
yeah, I
because
don't mind him.
I don't mind him, but he's like it's ABC. She's type ABC blood, and Courtney B. Vance starts calling him ABC after that.
Yeah.
And then I think when they find Glenn Close's results, she's got negative blood. Her blood's negative.
He's trying to help.
I know, he's so stupid.
He is. I can't say enough. Like every time you see Emma driving, she has brown liquor in her hand. Just drunk driving for dear life.
The Wild Turkey should have sponsored the film.
And oh, I was a little confused. At a point, we see Willis, like before the suicide, we see Willis on that day running around doing errands. And one of his errands is to go to the liquor store to pick up a bottle of bourbon. And then he goes to the juke joint to give them a bottle of bourbon. And I was a little confused by that. Did we see him take a bottle of bourbon?
I don't know that we saw that, but it's implied that that's a regular thing he does because the owners says, "Oh, he's even again."
Or does he not drink, or they pour him, but he doesn't pay and instead brings back a bottle?
The way that the lady looks about it, I assume that he was stealing pints.
Really?
That's what I thought, and then returning them. And then, replacing buying it what he drank and didn't pay for at the time. That's what I
So
thought.
they just know that good old Willis comes down to the bar to steal brown liquor to then bring it back.
Puts on a whole production. Like, I left my pocket knife over behind the bar. Let me just go look back there.
But of course, that's an important plot point because because then all these things point back to Willis was doing what he said he was doing on the day of the death. Because also the liquor store owner has a little kid, and that little kid earlier in the movie before the suicide, he was over at Cookie's house and borrowed something. And then because at a point he's trying to tell the adults, I know something, and they're like, shut the hell up, adults are speaking. But then at the end, the dad is like, okay, actually, he did have something to say. I didn't understand what he shared. Like,
I
was he just saying that I saw,
Glenn Close throwing the gun.
oh, that's what it was, that he saw Glenn Close doing something. Okay,
But yeah, he had stolen a croquet ball from the backyard,
that's
thinking
right.
maybe.
Glenn Close, she is so good at playing these very, I mean, just think about the range of,
Her unlikable
I mean,
character.
from Fatal Attraction to 101 Dalmatians to what's the movie with Robin Williams?
World According to Garb.
She's not a villain per se, but just like she plays these very intense, The Deliverance.
Dangerous Liaisons.
She's so good.
Mhm. Yeah, and so Glenn and Julianne Moore as the sisters, I think, are kind of sublime. It's a very brief moment towards the end of the film when Julianne Moore is finally fetched, sitting on her porch, still wearing the veils of Salome, and they ask if she wants or she asks if she can have a Coke, and they go give her. Did you notice that they go to the vending machine and put the money, and she goes, "Oh, let me push the button."
Yeah.
Like she's so
Yeah.
childlike and kind of sweet. And I
Yeah.
thought she was really pretty when
He did
when she
look really nice.
was performing as Salome.
Okay.
But
When Charles S. Dutton first ends up in jail, of course, his friend Lester is like, oh no, like, this is not right. And so immediately he goes in there and like they're just hanging out. They're playing Scrabble. Then the town lawyer's there and he's like trying to help. It
oh,
seems like
Donald,
they're all buddies. So
yeah.
they're just sitting in the jail cell with the door open, playing Scrabble. And am I crazy or was Lester not wearing pants?
Oh, I didn't notice.
Lester had unbuttoned his shirt and did not have pants on. And I just thought this is the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen. Also, if this actually were like a case that had to go to trial, it would just be thrown out because the crime scene's been compromised. Like just the way witnesses are being handled, the way law enforcement's interacting with the suspect, like it's too much.
Yes, he would have a very good case. But and it's also kind of similar to another 90s Altman film, Kansas City, whereby some shitty white characters try to, or their actions result in uh, criminal charges against the black character. Because in Kansas City, Dermot Mulroney puts on blackface to rob a bank,
Oh,
and they get him caught up right away. But it's kind of very similar because, of course, Charles S. Dutton, the one whose prints are on the gun, he's literally going to be the fall guy. So then at the very end of the performance of Salome, the famous line, "Bring me the head of John the Baptist on a silver platter." Ned Beatty leans over to Glenn Close and says, "Bring me the head of Willis."
well, I was reading some pull quotes and it seems like people, these reviews are older, like from when the film came out, but a lot of comments about highlighting racial tension in the South. And I didn't get that feeling at all. In fact, I felt like it's kind of a fantasy land where everyone's sort of treated equally and they're just trying to do good police work. But then you have Glenn Close, who I don't think she was racist towards Willis. I think she doesn't care. Like she's just selfish and self-centered. And
Oh yeah, she's ambivalent, I think. But yeah, this is a fantasy world, especially when it comes to race relations. But I do think it's funny when it's announced that Cookie or when Willis is related to them, and Liv Tyler's like, "Does this mean I'm part black?"
she was so excited to think she was black, which of course made me think of what's her name?
Rachel,
From Poison Ivy.
oh no,
Who's
Melissa Gilbert,
who's the lesbian from Roseanne?
Sarah Gilbert.
Sarah Gilbert is in a movie with Alicia Silverstone, and she tells everyone she's half black.
Yes, is that in Poison Ivy where she's saying that?
Because I was screaming. Like,
Uh-huh.
is that Poison Ivy?
Yes, I think so.
So of course I was thinking, oh, Liv Tyler's acting like Sarah Gilbert in Poison Ivy. Like, does this mean I'm part black?
Charles, that's like, no."
You really have to be in fantasy land to live in the South and be excited that you could be black.
But that's what, and I didn't verify, but I'm assuming Anne Rapp is probably a white woman. Uh, it's like they're nice gestures, but
Yes.
they don't track again, to use the word inauthentic. That's how it feels. It's a
Well,
fantasy.
and it works because I mean, again, probably the thing that works the best is the relationship between Willis and Lester. I just found that so nice.
Yeah, I believe that would be the attitude of these people.
Well, because also when you think, oh, a movie set, 20 plus years ago in the South, and there's this black man being accused of murdering this whole white lady, you immediately think, oh God. But then it's the opposite. Like the sheriff is like, hell no, my friend didn't do this.
They rally around him like Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, so that was I mean, sometimes it's nice to pretend that things were better in the world. So I did enjoy that. When
Yeah,
his wife makes him that candlelight dinner, it's like he's in the jail cell with like a full dining table setup. A full pie. But then, okay, Emma and Chris O'Donnell's character, Liv Tyler and Chris O'Donnell, in the jail making out. And I just thought, like, how can you have sex at a time like this?
Yeah, well, it's so boring.
And it's so boring.
I don't care about these people sneaking off together. Something else I thought was funny though is okay, so Salome, written by Oscar Wilde, who I feel like would be rolling in his grave that this is being mounted at this church.
But he would
Uh,
love that Glenn Close is portraying a director.
yes, he would, but well, the irony, of course, of the presentation here is Glenn Close saying, "I have an affinity for the Oscar Wilde version, but I had to edit it."
Oh, yeah. Okay. When Courtney B. Vance goes to the juke joint with his crew to do interviews, and then while the owner is being interviewed, they put headphones on the singer, but she has really big coiffed hair. So Lester is like trying to figure out how to put the headphones on her, which I thought was funny because he kind of just like plops them in front of her.
And then she's like, "You only got country western for me to listen to?"
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought she has her moment when she kind of snaps on the forensics guy.
Mhm.
Because she's like, I was told that one person is interviewing me. So I would appreciate it if you would stop interrupting and making me lose my train of thought. And then that's when Niecy Nash and the singer are like, because it seems like they both have the hots for Courtney B. Vance.
Uh,
But then she relays the story of how Willis returned that bottle of wild turkey. And Courtney B. Vance doesn't understand. But then they relay Willis's sentiment that he never drinks before Tom Brokaw, which I also thought was funny. Why were Camille and Cora allowed to stay in that house? Why?
well,
The,
they try to stop them, but they just don't listen.
but that's crazy. Put them in jail.
Oh yeah.
I
I
was
mean,
very frustrated by the fact that they were allowed to stay there. And then, because the first time Chris O'Donnell's the sole officer guarding the house, and Glenn Close and Julianne Moore just walk right on in, and he doesn't know what to do, so he calls it in. Everyone else comes down, tells them to get out. They don't get out. Then, when Courtney B. Vance shows up to the house, Glenn Close and Julianne Moore are in there literally cleaning up evidence, like removing the bloody linens. And then the lawyer shows up and they're like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm here to get her final will. What do you mean her final will? Well, the original copy of her last will and testament. Well, where would that be? In the cookie jar. Oh, well, there's no cookie jar here, Glenn Close says. And Julianne Moore goes, yes, there is. You told me it was ugly, so we put it up there.
and it's in the cupboard above the fridge.
And so the lawyer takes the will and leaves, and Glenn Close is mad, like she's digging through it. And literally, when Courtney B. Vance walks in, he sees them trying to dispose of the bloody linens with Glenn Close's hand in the cookie jar.
Yes.
And it's so silly.
It's yeah. You can't take it seriously at all, but how law enforcement handles these two abrasive white women, that does track that they
Well, I
they
was thinking, can you imagine back, like in a small town like this, back in like the 50s,
oh yeah.
where like everyone goes fishing and they all are buddies? Like, I can only imagine the shenanigans people were up to
The shit people would feel entitled about and get away with. Yeah.
when Lester finally arrests Glenn Close at her performance, the Easter play Salome by Oscar Wilde. They're dragging her out the theater. Glenn is like, is that your cologne? Does your wife approve of that cologne? She's so bitchy. But I really did enjoy this. I do think so. To me, everything's fine up to when they read the will. And we find out that Willis is the nephew of Buck and he's going to get everything. Okay, great. It could have ended there. But then it's like, oh, we got to have Glenn admit that she covered up the suicide. Okay, we already know that. Then we get Niecy Nash and her HIPAA violation. So then it's like, oh, now we know that Emma is Camille's daughter. Like, okay. Then we get a conversation about who her dad is and how he was killed in a button factory accident. I didn't think any of that was funny.
Well, yeah, that it's like, is this a social satire? Like, what is the?
Yeah, it falls off hard for me at the end, but would I watch this movie again? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's really sweet and enjoyable. And besides Liv Tyler, all of the lovely people giving very entertaining performances. It's hard to me. This is a film that's hard not to like.
So, do I know the actor who, Patricia Neal? Do I know her from something?
The Fountainhead.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
What would you give Cookie's Fortune?
3.5.
Yeah, I think it's very good. It's gentle and funny and warm and silly.
Mm.
I will give it 3.5 out of 5. Well, this week is Thanksgiving,
Sure is.
upcoming week.
Mhm.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I know we have Patreons to record
We do. And food to eat.
and lots of food to eat, including your corn dish
Oh, I guess I have to make that, huh?
and tamales
By special request. Yes, tamales.
and my sister's famous sangria,
Hmm.
and you'll get to see her dogs.
Yes, which I'm excited for.
And I get to drive to Las Vegas with the cat.
You sure do. Hopefully she survives the trip.
I might leave her ass in off Zizek's Road.
Don't do that.
Hey, what
You know,
happens? I don't know.
she's gonna have periods of chattiness, so be prepared.
I feel like she'll probably calm down at a point.
Eventually,
Like
yes.
by the time I hit Barstow, maybe she'll shut up. I don't know.
She
Well, then
she
you don't have to pee all the time, so I feel like every time I have to pee, she's going to get hype.
yeah.
Uh, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
All right, ta-ta.